Reijnders to Manchester City. In this video, we're going to break down if it's a good transfer or not for Pep Guardiola. It's a massive, massive summer at Man City. A huge rebuild needed. The likes of De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, maybe even Kovacic, all leaving that midfield with Rodri coming back. And it looks like Man City have moved very, very early for one of the most talented midfielders in Europe. We're going to break down how he fits into the Man City side, if it's a good transfer, and a few key observations about one of the most exciting midfielders from Italian football last season. Leave your comments down below, and obviously make sure you subscribe as well. I want to hear your thoughts about Reijnders coming in to Manchester City. An overview of the deal is it's not extortionate money. I know in the modern day, 60, 70 million pounds seems like a lot of money, but ultimately for the midfielder of the season in Italian football, for one of the biggest clubs in the world, they didn't do what they wanted last season, AC Milan, but they were in the Champions League. And when I saw Reijnders in the Champions League, when I saw Reijnders in the Euros, so impressed with the quality, how dynamic he is, how robust he is. He's a tall, kind of mobile, powerful midfielder with unbelievable technical quality. And the fact that he's winning Italian midfielder of the season is, of course, a ringing endorsement when you've got Scott McTominay kicking about in the league. 26 years old as well. It's an outrageous kind of age, because ultimately you've still got your prime years to go, and for a midfielder you can still be at a top level in your early 30s. So this could be a long-term transfer, and for that reason it's also very exciting. But again, back to the money. I mean, you could spend 130 million quid on Florian Wirtz. I've done a video about that on this channel, and I think it's a ringing endorsement to Arne Slot. It's a very, very good signing. But if anything goes wrong in terms of his form, in terms of God forbid any injuries, obviously I don't wish any injuries on any rival player, but 130 million quid is almost putting a lot of your eggs into one basket. At least with Reijnders, he can come in and he doesn't have to hit the ground running like a £100 million signing does. For £68 million, 70 million euros, I think it is, maybe it's closer to £60 million, you can have a little bit of pressure taken off of you, and you can obviously settle in a little bit more. I remember when Bernardo Silva came in, he wasn't the biggest name coming through the door, and it took him a couple of years, and then he settled. If Bernardo Silva was a £110 million signing, the pressure when he came in would have been astronomical, but he took his time, he settled in, it took him a couple of years, there was less pressure. You could argue the Jack Grealish signing, if he was £50 million, then it's a different kind of narrative around him. And at £100 million puts a lot of pressure on people, and for Reijnders to come in for 60 to 70 million pounds, it's outrageously good value. Ultimately, Man City will be spending a lot of money this summer, but on a whole squad rebuild. And I have to throw it in there, less net spend than Arsenal Football Club since Guardiola came in. Man City make a lot of money in player sales, particularly from the academy as well. So this kind of money is actually really good business for Manchester City. Let's talk about the qualities of Reijnders. The Man City midfield is in dire need of an overhaul. It's needed it for 2-3 years. I think there's a cheeky element from the ownership that let's just get through every season with Rodri, see if Phil Foden can do it, see if De Bruyne can do it, see if Bernardo Silva can do it. But because Rodri is so good, he's a generational defensive midfielder, I think there is a kind of attitude of waiting until something goes wrong and keeping it going every single season and not trying to rebuild the midfield too soon. Kovacic felt like a little bit of a stopgap, particularly at his age as well. And obviously Rodri got injured last season, it all fell apart. I mean, I always say on every podcast I've ever done last season, talk about Man City's troubles, particularly in that 2-month window across Christmas where, I mean, the club couldn't buy a win. It was outrageous. Yes, Phil Foden's form was poor. Yes, Haaland's form was poor. Yes, Ruben Diaz, John Stones had injuries. Ederson was poor in certain games, particularly in the Champions League. But it all came together through the midfield. If Guardiola has a weak or a poor midfield, or a midfield with injuries, or a midfield that is over the hill in terms of age, then his whole system falls apart. His whole philosophy falls apart. And he didn't know what to do last season. He tried Jack Grealish in midfield. He tried James McAtee in midfield. He's tried Nico O'Reilly as an inverted fullback. I thought he did well in certain FA Cup games. Phil Foden had a poor season. Kovacic, for me, didn't work. Ilkay Gundogan at points was playing as a number 10, then dropping into the base of midfield. So long story short, this Reijnders transfer is absolutely fantastic for any City fan, because ultimately he bridges a lot of the gaps in the midfield. And he's so good as a midfielder that he can complement Rodri in a big way. In big matches next season, let's say Liverpool away at Anfield, Arsenal away at the Emirates, you can play Rodri and Reijnders, and then Phil Foden as a floater, Chekri as a floater, obviously Marmoush. I can see a world where Marmoush plays on the left, actually cutting in on his right foot as well. Obviously Haaland up front, but that midfield already feels so much more powerful, young, vibrant, dynamic, and it feels like a midfield that could go on to do really big things. I like Reijnders as a person. From what I've seen, he looks optimistic, he looks upbeat, he's always trying to play the forward pass, he carries the ball smoothly. He wanted to join AC Milan because of his love for the Dutch connection with AC Milan. You're thinking about Rijkaard, you're thinking about all the big guys, Ruud Gullit, of course, Van Basten, it goes on and on, Seedorf. Ultimately, Reijnders looks like a guy that cherishes the right way to play football, and that is at Man City. Whether we like it or not, Guardiola is the ideal place to be if you're a midfielder. Look at Fernandinho, look at David Silva, look at Xavi, Iniesta, Philipp Lahm playing in midfield. He is the best manager of all time if you're a midfielder. Let's be completely real. So Reijnders is going to come in and absolutely love it. And the Man City midfield has got some big gaps in it, not only in terms of the legs, the lack of the legs because of the Rodri injury, but Gundogan could go. There are big rumours that he could go to Turkey. Bernardo Silva could go. De Bruyne's obviously gone already. So it's a big summer in that regard as well. Reijnders just fits in the Man City midfield mould anyway, let alone the fact that I actually think he complements what Guardiola will need to do next season. More control in midfield, something a bit more dynamic. It was very side to side last season, very flat, easy to counter-attack. If the percentages of possession can go up, the amount of forward passes can go up. You look at what PSG have done this season, I think you have to take a lot of credit. And sometimes in football, you just lean back and say, what's the best side in European football? Who is the best side in European football? It is PSG. And what does Vitinha, Neves and Ruiz do? They get the ball in the half turn, they play it quick between the lines, they play it up to marauding fullbacks. And City had none of that last season. Obviously, PSG beat Man City as well in the Champions League. Reijnders is a part of that, where you have more control of midfield. He'll drive with the ball. He's great at arriving in the box as well. His numbers for goals and assists are really strong. And you feel that he's going to get goals. He's going to make the midfield robust, dynamic, forward-thinking. And hopefully, there'll be a couple of interesting signings coming in that can complement him, particularly on the wings. You're looking at Aït coming in at left-back, dynamic, powerful, young. That's the critical word as well for a lot of Man City fans. Younger in their prime years. They have legs. They have juice in the tank. Maybe Livramento at right-back. That would be a dream. And then this Man City side looks so much more sort of powerful and leggy and rangy, and I think Reijnders is a big part of that. I'm a big fan of this signing. You can afford for it to go a little bit more wrong than maybe £100 million or £130 million. That's not a dig at Liverpool. I'm just saying that this Man City rebuild is going to be 4, 5, 6 people as opposed to 1 or 2, and Liverpool are a lot closer to retaining the Premier League title next season than they have been for many seasons. But Reijnders is a competitive signing that takes City a lot closer. He's a big signing. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe if you made it this far. I'll see you very soon.